Greetings everyone, my name is Lungelo Jamko and I'm a business studies teacher. The topic for today is presenting business information. Business information is useful data or information that is used by management in order to make strategic decisions for companies. Each business function has their own set of activities that they must report on. For instance, the information that we can expect to get from marketing is different than what we're going to get from finance and HR and other departments. Marketing, as we know, is concerned about the market, and the market talks about our competitors, talks about our customers, and even our suppliers. So that is what we are actually looking at from marketing. So marketing must tell us if we are getting more customers or if we are losing customers. Marketing must tell us if we are losing customers, where are our customers going? Is our competitors selling better quality products and services, or are they charging them at lower rates than us? So all of that information we will expect to get from the marketing function. The HR function is responsible for the people in the organization. So they will tell us how many people are leaving us and why are they leaving us. That information must come from HR. HR must tell us if we are in a threat of any strikes or is there any unhappiness that is happening in the company. That information must come from HR. So business information is very important because if it's not presented correctly and is not gathered correctly, then managers or management cannot make the correct strategic decisions for the company to grow further. There are two types of presentations before I go to the phases. We have verbal and oral. So that is presentations where you go and tell the people the information. And then the second part is non-verbal, where you write it down in the form of reports. Okay, so I'm going to start with the three phases of the oral presentations. So we have the before presentation, we have the during the presentation, and we have after the presentation. Before the presentations, if you're going to be presenting to people, regardless if it's professional people or if it's just random people that are looking for information, you always need to make sure that you know how much time you have. It will not help you planning for an hour presentation if you're only going to be allocated 5 minutes, because then you're not going to finish what you wanted to say and the whole presentation is going to end up not making sense. You need to know who is your audience and what they need to get from the presentation. For instance, if you are working for a school and you have to have a presentation for the students, if you prepare for that and then there's parents there, then what is going to happen is you are going to have information that is not relevant for the parents. So the parents are not going to get anything out of that. Parents at school want to know how their children are doing and they want to know what is happening with the fees and all of that. So if you did not know that the parents were coming, then that type of information you're going to leave out. So the whole presentation is going to be meaningless to the parent. So you need to know who is the audience, who's going to be there. You must also know beforehand what equipment is available at the venue. Because what's going to happen, you're going to prepare your PowerPoint slides, you're going to prepare everything, and then you get to the venue. The venue has no speakers, the venue has no projector, so everything you would have prepared for will be out the window, and that is when panic starts to kick in. You must also understand what equipment you will need, which is very important, because if it's a big hall, then you can't shout throughout your presentations. So you need to plan so that you can get a PA system, which is your speakers and the microphone. So you need to know what equipment you will need. And also you must start to develop your visual aids, which is critical. If you're going to be presenting a PowerPoint, that is a visual aid. So if you're going to be needing graphs and tables to simplify some information, then you have to develop all of those things in advance. And also, as you are planning, you know, you must, you might not know, but you must try to at least plan for possible questions that the people might ask, so that you are not caught by surprise. So it is very critical that as you're doing your presentation, or you are planning for a presentation, then you at least have an idea of what can the people ask and how am I going to respond to those type of questions. And then during the presentation, it is very important that you arrive on time and you set up on time, because if you go to a presentation and you are late and the people have to wait for you, then that's not a bad start and it's very difficult for you to recover from that. Setting up on time is critical. You have to set up before the people get there, especially if you're the only one that is presenting. It is not nice having to set up a projector that is not coming on, having to fiddle with your equipment while the people are sitting there looking at you. And also, when you start your presentation, you need to start strong with confidence. People must feel you. You must start strong with confidence, because if you catch them from the start, then they stay with you. And you must watch the language you use and you must regulate your voice. By regulating your voice means that you must just ensure that your voice is loud enough but not too loud. You must not be too loud and you can't be too soft, because you need to make sure everyone can hear you. And you need to switch your tune. Don't be monotone and speak in the same voice, because then people will fall asleep or you will lose the people. So you must just try to regulate your voice the way you would when you're speaking with anyone else. You don't speak in the in the same tone. And then during the presentation, continued, avoid jokes. I put there Chris and Will. You saw what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock. So that is the reason of jokes when you're doing presentation. That is the result of jokes when you're doing presentation. Jokes and humor is all good and nice, but what is funny to you is not funny to me and may not be funny to anyone else. So you might offend a few people while others are laughing. So until you are experienced enough or you know you're comfortable with the audience, it is a good idea to avoid humor or jokes. You must keep eye contact with with the audience and do not read on scripts. There's nothing wrong with having a few scripts or just short papers to remind you of key points, but don't read. As soon as you're not keeping eye contact, then you are losing the people. And also, in terms of questioning, when people are questioning you or doing stuff, you do not engage the people directly. You engage the audience, because you don't want it to be the two of you that is on the floor. So what I mean by that is, if anyone asks a question, then you thank that person, then you take that question and then you address it to the whole audience. For instance, if anyone asks you something, then you say thank you, sir, and then you go back to the audience and you say the question from the gentleman in the corner is X, Y, and Z. And the answer to that is you answering everyone, so you are not engaging that person. And also, do not make things up, which is very critical. You must be honest and tell them you are not sure. And instead of giving incorrect information after the presentation, you're going to make a quick call to check on that and then you're going to get back to them. If you did bring in any handouts, it is not wise to give the people handouts before the presentation. Why is that? Because what's going to happen is you are going to lose the people. They're going to focus on the handouts instead of listening to you. And the whole reason you are there is to present in person. You want them to listen to you. If you wanted them to read, then you would have emailed them or you would have done it as a report. And then after the presentation, there's two afters here. So you are done now presenting, but you are still at the venue. Right, so after the presentation, people might still have more questions. So you follow the same process of not making things up. And then when you are done with the presentation and you're not at the venue, you must take time then to reflect. If there was anything for feedback, as if people have completed feedback forms, then you must reflect on the time that you took. Did you take too long or was your presentation too short? You must listen to what are the people saying on their feedback forms. And also, if you promised to get back to people with information, you must do that. Get back to them, send them the information. Don't let them wait, because some people are genuine about that thing. If they ask you something, then they're expecting a response. So if you did promise someone anything, then you must get back to the people. And then we are now going to be discussing nonverbal presentations, and these are written reports. So this one does not need you to be physically there. You're going to be sending someone an email, you're going to be sending someone a written report. So it is also very important. You must plan for who is going to be reading the report that you have written and what information are they looking for. If you're going to be sending it to the HR manager, then talking a lot about marketing and finances might not really be what they're looking for, but they want to understand about their people. What are the people doing? What is happening about the people? If you're going to be sending to the marketing or sales manager, then you're not really concerned about people's discipline and stuff. You're concerned about the numbers. Where's the money? How many people are buying from us, and all of that question. So you must know who's going to be reading the report and what are they looking for from the report. The language you use must be concise, straight to the point, and it must be clear. If there's a lot of numbers, then it is advisable to use graphs or tables to simplify that, because it's very difficult to read lots of numbers. Then you must make sure that your layout, everything is professional, and you must read and read and read before sending, because you don't want spelling errors, you don't want information there that was not supposed to be there. Thank you so much. That was presenting business information. And please, if there are any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them on the below comment section, and I will ensure to get back to you. Thank you so much. My name is Lungelo Chamko.